Welcome everyone to Low Code Bias channel. My name is Ahmed Musa. In this episode of the Power Platform for Administrators course, we will delve into creating environments and managing permissions for who can create them. We will also cover how to add database to the environment and explore all the requirements and properties related to creating environments, such as environment groups, regions, and the benefits of adding Dataverse to the created environment. Prerequisites for creating an environment. As we discussed in a previous episode, a Power Platform environment is a space to store, manage, and share your organization's business data, apps, copilots, and workflows. It also serves as a container to separate apps that might have different roles, security requirements, geolocation, or target audiences. But first, let's go over the prerequisites for creating an environment. License type. The type of environment dictates the necessary license requirements. For instance, a user with the sufficient permissions and trial license can only create trial environments. A user with a developer community free license can create developer environments. A user with a standalone, standard, or premium license for Power Apps, Power Automate, or Copilot Studio can create sandbox or production environments. Secondly, permissions to create an environment are managed at the tenant level. By default, anyone can create an environment. However, using the Power Platform admin settings, you can restrict environment creation to admins only, instead of all users with a valid license. As we will see in the demo, it's recommended to apply this restriction to facilitate easier environment management and avoid unnecessary environments being created without the correct settings and data policy. Lastly, you must have a minimum of 1 GP capacity in your tenant's Dataverse capacity, regardless of whether you will create the environment with or without Dataverse. We will also explore the distinctions between environments with and without Dataverse, along with the recommended approach. Environments group. When creating a new environment, you have the option to select an environment group or skip this selection and add it later. But what exactly is an environment group? As a Power Platform admin, managing the platform across a large number of environments, which can range from few environments to many, is a significant challenge for both small and enterprise IT teams. To address this, environment groups function like folders, allowing administrators to organize their extensive list of environments into structured groups based on various criteria, such as business unit, project, or location. By applying rules to these groups, admins can govern multiple environments simultaneously, reducing manual effort and ensuring security and consistency. These rules can pertain to aspects like security, licensing, compliance, and more. Environment group strategies. There are several methods to manage cluster of environments within your tenant using environment groups. For instance, global organizations can create environment groups for each geographic region to ensure compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. Additionally, you can organize environment groups by department or other specific criteria. So what are the environments group restrictions? There are certain restrictions must be met to add an environment to an environment group. First, an environment can only belong to one environment group. Only managed environments can be added to an environment group. Any environment type, for example, production, developer, or sandbox, can be created into an environment group as long as they are managed environment. Keep in mind, managed environment is not an environment type, but a feature. When enabled, it adds specific capabilities for more scalable controls. Due to the significance of this feature, we have a dedicated episode. Additionally, in this episode's demo, we will touch on environment groups, but we won't delve further until we thoroughly understand managed environments. One of the major objectives of this course is to connect the dots across various topics. Environment groups' current available roles. At the time of this recording, environment groups are in the early stages and are expected to receive more updates and enhancements. Currently, they support only the following roles for the environment groups. sharing controls for Canvas apps, AI generated descriptions, maker welcome content, solution checker enforcement, usage insights, and extended backup retention. These supported rules are part of the broader managed environment feature, which includes a more extensive list of rules. This is why understanding the managed environment feature is crucial for fully comprehending environment groups. Be sure to follow the rest of the course for a complete understanding. Next is environment regions. As an essential aspect of this environment is their geographical region, which influences performance, compliance, and data residency. When creating a new environment in Power Platform Admin Center, administrators can select the desired region based on organizational needs. Power Platform environments are multi-geo by default, allowing you to create environments within the same tenant in different regions. This capability is beneficial from various perspectives. Geographic location. Each Power Platform environment is hosted in a specific geographic region, such as North America, Europe, or Asia. This region determines where the data is physically stored and processed. Performance optimization. Selecting an environment region close to the majority of your users can enhance performance by reducing latency. This is particularly crucial for applications that require real-time data processing and interaction. Data residency and compliance. Different countries and regions have varying regulations regarding data residency and compliance. By choosing the appropriate environment region, organizations can ensure they meet local legal and regulatory requirements. For example, a European company might choose a region within the European Union to comply with GDPR. Multi-region strategy. Large organizations with a global presence often adopt a multi-region strategy. This involves creating multiple environments in different regions to cater to different regional requirements and optimize performance for users in those areas. Get early access to new feature. Previously, the Admin Center allowed the creation of a preview environment to test new features, but this option was limited to the United States region. United States preview region is no longer available as a choice. Instead, it has been replaced by the Get New Features Early settings, which can be enabled when certain regions are selected. Admins can now create an environment and enable this setting to receive new features early. It's important to note that this feature is currently available only in specific regions, including the United States, Europe, Australia, and Canada. Early access begins approximately 2 months before general availability of each release wave in your region. The early access updates are available for all types of environments, including trial, sandbox, and production. However, the best practice is to enable the updates in trial or sandbox environments before production environments, or create a copy of the production environment to a sandbox environment to try the new features first. Add Dataverse to environments. When creating an environment, you have the option to include or exclude a Dataverse instance. So, what is Dataverse? What are the benefits of adding it? And what are the differences between an environment with Dataverse and one without it? Additionally, can Dataverse be added after the environment is created, or must it be included during the initial setup? We will address all these questions and more in the following discussion. What is Microsoft Dataverse? Microsoft Dataverse is a scalable, secure, and cloud-based data storage and management service that serves as the underlying data platform for Microsoft Power Platform applications, including Power Apps, Power Automate, and Copilot Studio. It provides a structured and unified way to store data used by business applications. Benefits of adding Dataverse to an environment. Centralized data management. Dataverse allows for the centralization of data from various sources into a single repository. This makes it easier to manage, maintain, and ensure data consistency across different applications and business processes. Data modeling. With Dataverse, you can define sophisticated data models using tables and relationships. This flexibility helps in designing applications that closely align with your business needs and processes. Security and compliance. Dataverse provides a robust security features, including role-based security, field-level security, and support for auditing. This ensures that your data is secure and access is controlled according to your organization's policies. It also supports compliance with various regulatory requirements by providing features like data encryption, data loss prevention policy, and region-specific data residency option. We will cover more details about how Dataverse affecting environment security settings and the differences between a Dataverse environment and non-Dataverse environment in the security roles when we reach environment security topic. So stay tuned and continue following the course. Other features enabled in Dataverse powered environment include solutions that serve as a project container for various resources, one of the best practices to start any project. AI hub features including AI builder models, flow approval functionality, and as we said, custom security roles. Can Dataverse be added after the environment is created? Yes, you can. The fact that the reserved capacity of 1 GB will remain the same despite you decided to add Dataverse or not. However, as a best practice, I recommend adding it to all your environments by default. We have also some other environment settings, including language, which is the default language of this environment, URL, where you can enter your organization name and custom URL as per selected data center, currency, which is the base currency used for reporting purposes, security groups. Well, you can select a security group to restrict access to this environment. We will cover security groups more in environment security topic. Now, since we have the necessary information and settings for creating an environment, let's proceed to create one. At Power Platform Admin Center, before navigating to environments and start adding a new environment, let's see some setup at the beginning first. The first step, we will navigate to Settings tab. And you will notice that we have three settings to control who can create different types of environments. The first one, Developer Environment Assignments. This option is available to everyone by default. You can restrict it to only specific admins or keep it open for any user or developer to create their own developer environment. One of the recommendations is to keep it for everyone because that's the main purpose of developer environment. I'll cancel and I'll go to the next settings. Next one is Production Environment Assignment. It is by default for everyone, but recommendation is to convert it to only specific admins. That will limit the option to create production or sandbox to only admins like Global Admin, Power Platform Admin, and Dynamics 365 Admin. I will hit save. Last one is Trial Environment Assignments. You can keep it open for everyone to create a trial environment or restrict it also only to specific admin. So I restrict it to only specific admin and I'll hit save. Now all the settings have been saved successfully. Next, I will move to environment groups. Click create group and then give it a name. Provide a description. Then hit save. Once the environment group is created, you will notice the following. You can start adding environments, but the condition, as we said, it must be a managed environment. Therefore, when I click add managed environment, I will not be able to see all my environment except only one, which I enabled managed environment features for it. We'll talk about this later. The other fact that you will start noticing that we have roles, the 6 roles that we mentioned that they are currently available. Finally, let's go to environments and create one. I'll hit environments, add new, then provide an environment name. The next option is to select a group, and this is not a mandatory field. You will notice development group I just created. I'll keep it none for now. Then you need to select the region. These are the available regions at this stage. Next, you select Get New Features. You will notice that this feature is enabled for only selected regions. If I change it to a non-supported region like Japan, it will be dimmed. So I'll keep it on. Next, I need to select the type of environment. Well, you will notice that I have 4 types available: developer, production, trial, and sandbox. You can review episode 2, which explaining the types and the differences between them. If I try to use production or sandbox for my environment, notice the following. First, I'll be able to select add Dataverse or not, use pay as you go with Azure. This is something that we will cover it later on, but it is not necessary as of now. Then you will see that save button became next because we have another page to go through. I'll hit next. Then this is the default language, default currency. I'll keep everything as is. Then we have the option to add a security group. This will allow us to restrict the environment access to certain members only of this particular selected group. But I will keep it open for every member now. Then I have the option to create a unique URL instead of the random created one. And this is also a good practice. So when I click here, the URL should be in lowercase, no spaces, and the complete FQDN will be the URL you add plus crm4.dynamics.com. Well, if you wonder why CRM4, that's because of the region I selected. In some regions, CRM4 might be something else, like 5, 15, 12. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the selected URL must be unique at the selected data center of Microsoft. So I'll call it CNT prod 001. Now, you will notice that I am not able to hit save button. If you wonder, that's because security group became required or a mandatory field. Therefore, you need to select one or just select open access to none and hit done. Here you can see save button. Well, I'm expecting an error message when I create this environment. Let me show it to you and explain why. I'll hit save. Now we're getting this error message. The message says clearly, this environment cannot be created because your organization or tenant needs at least 1 GB of database capacity. The reason because I selected production or sandbox. So where I can look at the database capacity and what is available to my tenant. I'll cancel the screen for now, and then we'll go to resources, then capacity. We have some time to talk about capacity in more details, but it's worth mentioning it as of now. When you look at your storage capacity usage at your tenant level, you will notice that I have 0 capacity available. Therefore, I wasn't able to create a new environment. You need a minimum of 1 GB at least. That's a limitation of my demo environment. We can continue doing our demo labs. So back to the environments, hit create new, and this time I'll make it faster. At the environment type, this time I'll select trial. Then you notice that I can still enable Dataverse, but pay as you go became disabled because you cannot enable pay as you go with Azure using trial environment. Then I will hit next. I'll keep all the option as is, and then I will hit save. The environment currently in preparing state, and then in few seconds, you will notice that it is ready to be used. So I'll hit refresh, and here is the environment ready. You will notice the countdown of the 30 days remaining for the trial period. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. Feel free to leave any questions or comments below. We would love to hear from you. See you in the next video.